Yo, wanted to make this video today about another topic that's near and dear to my heart. I'm building a program right now, mapping things out, a men's coaching program that's going to be amazing. But I can empathize with this syndrome, we're just going to call it, because I deal with it on certain topics, which is this video is just about gold rush syndrome and how it contributes to procrastination. So, sounds fancy. This is another way of explaining sort of like shiny object syndrome, but this is very common in the finance industry. It's very common, or with finance goals, it's very common with health goals. Obviously, that's what I'm going to refer back to a lot, or just life goals in general. So that this is our tendency to look for the piece of gold that's going to make this pursuit easy. The one thing that will solve every problem and that you can hang your hat on forever and you don't have to do basically anything else. So there's a lot of zealots out there, and it really can contribute to procrastination. And maybe it just contributes to someone procrastinating for a day's worth of research. They just spend a few hours looking things up, and finally they find something they think is the answer and then take action. Or it can last a week, or it can last a couple of weeks. In the stages of behavior change, this is called the contemplation stage. And the more successful the person in every area of their life, the faster they move through that stage. Let me say that again. The more successful someone is, the faster they move through that contemplation stage, which is a fancy way of saying successful people are really, really decisive and they course correct later. So let's relate this back to health goals. Let's say Jim is looking to lose 35 pounds and he hears about his friend Bob that is doing a keto diet. So he's very interested in this, but then he hears about another friend named Jeremy, who, I gotta remember those names. Jeremy, who's just counting calories. He's just logging stuff on MyFitPal. His attitude is I'll just work out more and eat less. And I'm not so concerned with being in ketosis or any of that. He's just generally monitoring what he eats, blah, blah, blah. So this throws our friend Bill, the original guy, whatever his name was, into a tailspin. So he's like, which one should I do? One of them has to be the answer that will solve my problems. And so he goes back and forth. He thinks keto is the golden nugget. He thinks counting calories is the golden nugget. But he doesn't actually decide on one. He thinks, wow, if I found these two just from my friends, what else is out there? So he researches other intermittent fasting and count. It's all about the macros. It fits your macros, and then he researches clean eating, and he goes in 197 different directions. I'm not saying that one of those is not a better way to start than another. That's not the point. The point is for you to help you understand when this is going on in your own psyche, when you're basically psyching yourself out by presenting and looking for the magic option, because it doesn't exist. And one thing that works for one person may work for somebody else. And this procrastination, again, it can be for like 2 hours. This could be for a couple of days. This could be for 2 or 3 months. And for some people, this can last a year or two. And it's like intermittent in that year or two when they just kind of forget about it. And then they hear something from a friend, or they hear something in the news, or they're just scrolling Facebook and they find some amazing all veggie diet and they think this could be the answer. And then it brings them back into a research cycle where they just don't take any action whatsoever. So, of course, some action is better than none. Knowing how to course correct is a skill and it takes time. That's why going and getting started is much better than looking for the magic option, the golden nugget that will make you instantly rich or instantly fit. This is sort of like the cryptocurrency stuff that was really prominent a year or two ago. And you barely hear about it now. But that was another form of a gold rush for finances, not for health goals. So I hope this resonates with somebody and maybe even takes you out of a prolonged research cycle where you're searching for that golden nugget. It's shiny object syndrome too, um, but um, but shiny object syndrome, someone's usually taking some form of action already, and then they get distracted by something new. This is like in the contemplation stage; they're not even moving forward. So yeah, I hope this helps somebody.